What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what is really moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is up 10.55%, 603 the high, 537 the low, and a lot of volume. So 96.2 million for the volume, 83.3 is the average. I did a pre-market video where I went over some of the data points and what was really influencing it at that stage, because today there's been no news, no SEC filings associated to NIO itself, rather a lot of optimism on a macro standpoint. And so a lot of analysts are starting to come out and be a lot more optimistic on a lot of companies as well. That is going to be unveiling the earnings near the second or tail part of this week. And plus, on a side note, Israel didn't retaliate. So the market was really starting to price that in clearly at the end of last week. So since they didn't retaliate, obviously oil went down. I think it's around 5 or 6% down right now. So the markets are very much inverse to that, because oil going down does help a lot of different sectors. All of that is really helping NIO. But there was one thing that did come out associated to NIO itself, and that was a new analyst rating. So upgraded Macquarie, Eugene, who has a 89% success rating, so very good for any rating or for any analyst, but especially one that covers EVs. Normally you get like this type, like 38, 35, 50, 37. That's the type of like ratings that you normally get, not 89%. So 660 is very optimistic, especially where NIO is currently at. And all of this is kind of just piggybacking off of NIO's optimism. So Friday was able to get above that 200-day moving average, kind of flirted with that 50, didn't really have enough to get above that, but today just blew right past the resistance points. And so yeah, it's looking as though it's kind of breaking out. Stochastic, you see it very oversold, so a good piece of news, as I've been stating in the past. If one was to come out, then you'd see a rush of value investors, and that analyst rating is very, very positive for NIO. So this is why you are seeing it go up a little bit more in comparison to a lot of other stocks. So yeah, I think the technicals are starting to look a-okay in NIO's case. Aside from that, in my pre-market video, I did go over shorts. Even pre-market shorts were returning roughly around, I think it was 450,000 shares. Now they are returning 665. Both are net amounts, so just be aware of that. But one thing that I want to draw your attention to is, as NIO is running up, this right here, shorts did return at the kind of peak was 2.9 million. So as it ran up, shorts were returning. And so of course, if you don't know, shorts returning shares does add buying pressure. So that's what happened there. And then since then, it looks like shorts have started to increase. And so that's why it's going down a little bit. But still, the fact that net shorts are returning 665,000 shares is a good thing. 14.32% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 191.3 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 3.21, utilization is 91.49. And I get it, I do go through a lot of information. I tried to make it like 8-minute videos, kind of at maxed. So I kind of go through a lot of information relatively fast. So if there's anything that you want more further clarification on, just let me know in the comments below. I can definitely break that down for you. But moving over to options, 8.39 million in calls, 1.64 million in puts. So even though the common stock is going up like crazy, a lot of volume, you're not seeing that same level of, I guess, comparable dollar value in options. So that's something, again, to keep in mind. Nothing really to be of concern over, but 50% of all the options being done so far today are optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $7 range now. So a lot of optimism associated to NIO, and you're even seeing for the November 8th chain for it to be roughly around that 750. So yeah, a lot more upside is anticipated. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $5, $5.50, next week $5.50. So a lot more upside is anticipated. And these are all the transactions occurring so far on the secondary market above $100,000. Pretty much everything is a buy except for this one right here that just happened at 127, so roughly an hour ago. But aside from that, pre-market and everything, a lot of buying. So Yeah, I think institutions are finally seeing a lot more upside. And like I said, just piggybacking off of Friday's optimism. And right now with it at $5.86, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So NIO has been very volatile. This is why you see a lot of wide gaps between the fib levels. So just kind of be prepared for that. But in between here, you have that both 200 and also 50-day moving average. So I think NIO is really just amping itself up and ready to continue this going into the next couple trading days. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, so not my pre-market one, I went over a lot of the big data points that is coming out, both in China as well as the States for this week. So that might be that X catalyst to really propel it higher. So something to keep in mind, $6.12 is that next round resistance / target. So that's kind of the next thing to really watch for. And based on this information right here, it shows retail is buying the hell out of NIO. So the momentum indicator going up significantly. So yeah, it's an interesting time with NIO. Of course, it's kind of hard to predict exactly where it might go, but a lot of the data points that I did bring up in this video are all relatively optimistic and kind of pointing for it to really move up higher. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you've been buying, if you've been selling, have you been dabbling with options? And if you're wanting a tutorial on just basic options like buying and selling of calls and puts, I can definitely do so, because I think options is a very good thing that a lot of investors maybe just don't understand. But I think in reality, there could be a lot of money being made through options. And this is why you have this level of dollar value always getting into NIO and just in general. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. 2 things: take advantage of this promo. It is only up until November the 30th. Gives you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So that is a kick-ass deal. And then I launched my memberships with YouTube. So if you like my NIO content, want to support the channel, you can definitely do so by joining as a member. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.